exciting edition of Two Men in Black and White, an honest conversation. And let's be honest, Donald Trump is killing America, killing small towns, killing traditions, killing democratic norms, and literally trying to murder our democracy right in front of our very eyes. So, those of you who voted for Don the Con, as we like to call him back in the 80s, back in the 80s, folks, we knew he was a clown. The guy couldn't make money in a business where people give you money and expect nothing in return, and where the drinks are watered down and the hostesses are not even hot. That's a problem. Crappy drinks, you lose at gambling, and there's no eye candy. That was a Trump casino. Trash. Brock and Ellis joins me now live. Brock, I'm over this fucking guy. Two stories that we're going to talk about today on the economic impact of his tariffs and his shitbird policies just have me so hacked off. I don't know any other way to put it than to call this guy a fucking putz. I'm sick of him. And I saw a headline on a video today on YouTube said, the world collapses around him as Trump suffers all alone. That ain't enough for me. I need him suffering in a prison cell. So I never even clicked on the video to see what they were talking about. But I need this guy locked up and gone. What say you?
Trump's not suffering. We're suffering. What's he suffering? The guy plays golf 5 out of 7 days a week, right? He's making money hand over fist, right? Scamming, taking bribes, strong arming. I mean, in what way is Trump suffering? Oh, because those that are getting devastated are crying out for help? That's Trump suffering? Fucking kidding me?
Right.
I mean, stop with the Trump is suffering. He's suffering zero. Let's talk about all the pain he's inflicting on others. How are we even framing? How's anyone even framing the discussion that somehow Trump is the fucking victim here? That's like saying, oh, Trump was suffering on Epstein Island also?
Right.
I mean, seriously, is everything framed as, he's under such pressure? Oh, because he's being challenged on the fact that he's part of a global pedophile ring? Oh, he's suffering? He's the one suffering, not the victims? That framing's such bullshit.
Yeah. It's all designed to be kind of clickbait, to get you to turn it on, get you to watch. But, again, all we can hope for, at this point is for cholesterol to do its thing. And hopefully, the impeachment talks about Bondi will start to heat up. They've had to put some files back up on that website. They managed to redact a whole lot of Trump shit, but what about the victims? They put out a whole bunch of, one of the victims had her attorney coming out and saying, my name's all over the files. Thought you guys were, working and delaying to protect the victims. They don't give a shit about the victims. They're trying to protect their boy. They're scared of Trump for whatever reason. I still can't figure out why they're scared of Trump. It really is frustrating to see the American dream, just get run roughshod over by a guy who's like really a C- student. Well, probably a D+.
Oh my god! On the Epstein files, I like the chess move Bill Clinton made today in saying, release all the files, not just selectively release a whole bunch of where I'm in there. Release all the files, including all the other times that I'm mentioned. So he kind of removed protecting him as one of the reasons that the files wouldn't be, fully exposed. So I think that was at least a good move to sort of deflect away from him as the focus and get it back onto Trump.
Because
You
nobody
know,
gives a
Clinton,
shit.
yeah,
They don't
Clinton's,
care about
you know,
Slick Willie.
yeah, Clinton's not the greatest guy in the world, but he is politically savvy, and I thought that was a good move. So yeah,
Right.
between the victims and Clinton, they did throw the ball back into Bondi's court, and we'll see how fast Ro Khanna and Massey can move. Supposedly they're drawing up the paperwork for impeachment of Bondi.
Right.
Bondi and Blanche, I think, are the two.
Right. They both got to go. Blanche was on TV this morning lying his ass off again on Fox State News media regime. Um, you know, regime media, whatever it is, whatever Kim Jong Un calls it, and his buddy Don the Khan. Um, Speaking of state media, CBS has basically pulled the lever to let us know that they can't be trusted. They pulled the story of the two men who were sent to that horrible prison in El Salvador to be tortured, to be sexually assaulted. They pulled the story because it was inconvenient for your boy. Can you believe that this is what we've come to? One of the most trusted television news franchises in the history of American television, Brock. That was 60 Minutes. That
Yeah,
was
well, it
what Hewitt and those guys built it to be.
started with Walter Cronkite, and he kind of passed the torch to 60 Minutes, and it was trusted, and it was supposed to talk truth to power. We kind of saw this coming a mile away with the Barry Weiss hire and the Erica Kirk interview, and that
Yep.
this was the direction they were going to go. But this is just a high profile, obvious, ham-handed, last-minute pulling of a story, and the explanation is because the White House hadn't commented on it. So therefore, by just not commenting, the White House gets a veto power over the news. So
Because we
you know
don't
what?
have.
But you know what? CBS is pretty fucking easy to boycott. You just
Yeah.
don't turn the channel on. What are you?
Yeah,
What
there's
are
nothing
you
there.
absolute? What are you missing? Murder She Wrote. What the hell's on CBS?
There's
Tracker.
nothing there, bro.
Tracker. You got Tracker. I don't know, Matlock or the Matlock reboot. You know what? There's nothing on there that you gotta see. And you know,
Amazing Race.
Paramount Plus already boycotting. So I'm just added to the list of stations I won't watch. So to me, CBS is just lumped in now with Fox and Newsmax for me.
Right.
Like
Right.
same boat. Same
Right.
boat. No interest in subscribing to anything where I pay for put a dollar in their pocket to any of those networks. They're dead to me.
No doubt. CBS has been hurting for a long time. And, their news division is really what kind of saved them, right? Because, I mean, people always watched 60 Minutes.
Yeah,
It was a no brainer,
huge ratings.
huge ratings. And now they won't get shit. I haven't been watching them since they put Marjorie Greene's fucking hyena ass on there.
I stopped watching when they fired Scott Pelley for his little 1 minute blurb. As soon as that was it, I'd never watched again.
Yeah. I should have stopped then.
So I stopped the boy. That started the
Yeah.
boycott. So I didn't even. I wasn't gonna watch last night. I saw it on my feed. Oh, they pulled
Yeah.
a story. Oh, they have a bullshit explanation. I like the producer of the piece wrote a good email to the team that got leaked or sent out.
Yeah.
Just
Like it
saying
should.
we did our work. This was checked 5 different times by legal, by this, that, and the other thing. The story was ready to go. I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's censorship in the media. I want to segue back to where you started because you started with like economic distress and the fact
Yeah.
that Trump's a horrendous businessman is now underwater on the economy in his approval ratings.
Yes.
And in the last like 24 hours, we just had a wave of Trump triggered negative economic news, much
Yep.
of which is in red state America.
Yep.
And they got to be just questioning their decision making if the kitchen table means anything to them as they cling to their racism. You
right?
pointed out something in Nebraska. What shut down in Nebraska?
So Tyson Foods is closing their plant on January 20. Exactly 1 year to the day since Donald Trump took
Oh,
office.
Inauguration Day.
Yeah, isn't that special? Yeah, 3,200 jobs. We knew it was coming. Lexington, Nebraska has been, under the gun because it's a beef producing plant, right? Trump has managed to, work out all these other deals for countries to purchase beef instead of right here in the US. And now it's so expensive. Tyson doesn't need all these beef producing plants to keep up with demand. So they're closing the small one, right? 3,200 jobs. Now, Lexington, Nebraska has what, a population of 10,000? Maybe? Let me hit the Google machine while we're talking. I
The
mean, it may
que-
not even be that big.
which means people are going to leave the town, right? They're going to have to go somewhere else to get a
Absolutely.
job, which means like the corner diner ain't going to have anyone stopping in for breakfast or coffee on their way to work, right? Like the ripple effect is going to be huge. The tax base is going to go down. The school's going to get decimated. Teachers
Yep.
will then get laid off. Firemen, everything is going to unravel
Yep.
when a small town, we saw it in the Rust Belt, right? It's like
Yep.
the
Same thing.
the steel plant going in those little cities outside of Pittsburgh in Ohio.
Yep. So the impact is 3,200 jobs affecting nearly half the students in Lexington whose parents work there.
The town's
Every
gonna
other student.
they're gonna have to shut the lights off in the town on January 21st and let everyone
Why
just get
not?
in their car and go somewhere
That's
else,
all
I
it
guess,
is.
wherever there is to go. So wouldn't want to be the mayor of the Lexington, Nebraska. So the other economic stories were maybe as high profile. Jim Beam, Bourbon, is literally made the executive decision to not produce any product in 2026. They're
That's
shutting down
amazing.
for a year. That's a big name. Jim Beam is on the shelf at every bar in America, right?
Every single one. There's
Every
not
single
one
one.
that it's not on.
It's
Every
there,
single
right?
one.
It's there, right? It's everywhere. And I guess it was every bar in Canada too. But once the tariffs kicked in, and
Woo.
once we started talking about Canada as the 51st state, and Canada started boycotting our products, they lost
Yeah.
all their Canadian business, and then whatever the economics of running the plant went south.
Mhm.
So I guess instead of running for a loss, they're literally going to take the year off. That's a big brand to
Hey,
be
hey,
shutting down the entire production.
hey, Brock, where is that located?
I'm not sure. I know it's in Kentucky. I know
Kentucky,
it's in a red state. It might be
another red
Lexington,
state.
Kentucky, but I don't know the exact location of their plants. It's probably more than one facility. But anyway, someone can get on our chat. So some of our red state viewers can get in the chat and get precise on this one. But that's a big name. That's Canada elbows up, just basically knocking an American company out of business for
Oh,
at least a
absolutely.
year. So
Absolutely.
what do those workers do?
Check this out, though. Sales figures in polling show Americans are drinking less than they have in decades, which I
America.
find which I find pretty ironic because I find that a nice shot of
I
whiskey
think
takes the edge off every night.
it's probably because we're smoking more weed than ever before.
That too.
Something's got to give, or maybe it's just too damn expensive.
Yeah.
The other
23.
economic news is really how we allow a mad king idiocracy to make economic decisions, and that's the shutting down of wind farm leases in the Northeast. Because Trump hates wind farms because it
Wind.
ruined his view off his golf
Damn.
course in Scotland, and he's been ranting about wind farms for what 9, 10 years now,
Right. Because
and
everybody else is ahead of the curve.
they're citing national security for the need to
Bullshit.
shut down the wind farms. Total horseshit. But think about the investors in those farms. That's huge dollars that were put into. These aren't small projects.
Yeah.
Massive wind farms,
Billions. Billions.
billions. And
Billions.
we froze the leases, so they're just being shut down. So I don't know. It's not like the wind farms are going to be taken down, right? They're still going to be out there as eyesores, but like the propellers just won't be moving because we
Which is
made
the
up something
stupidest thing
that it messes with the radar. Some fucking bullshit lie came out of Hegseth and his
Some
crew.
of them are in the ocean,
But that's the idiocracy,
in the Atlantic
right?
Ocean.
Because Trump was saying wind farms cause cancer, right? So when you have a fucking imbecile in mental decline with his camera dinosaur pizza box, right? And he's like, hey, I passed the tough test, making economic, multi-billion-dollar economic decisions, you get outcomes like this. So investors, funds, whoever put the money into those projects, whoop, wiped out because
And I
of
thought
the
he was a good
idiocracy.
businessman. I thought he was a good businessman.
And the only way they can probably get him going again is to bribe him. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the kleptocracy angle of it. So
Yeah.
now I'm not surprised that Trump is now underwater in the polls on the economy because people are figuring out he's an idiot and his idiotic decisions are hurting them, and he doesn't even understand it, nor does he care. He's just going to bullshit you and tell you things are great. But
Yep.
tell that to Lexington, Nebraska, Lexington, Kentucky, and the entire northeastern seaboard and all those investors
Yeah.
in the wind farm world.
There's a trade group that estimated that 23,000 jobs and $2.2 billion come through the state of Kentucky and its bourbon production. And 95% of all bourbon made in the U.S. comes from Kentucky. We are federally fucked with this
How
guy
many-
in office.
How many consecutive elections did the people of Kentucky vote for Mitch McConnell?
Mitch McConnell.
So they're getting
Yeah.
what they asked for, right? This is the
Yeah.
natural outgrowth that may have taken 30 years, but this is the natural outgrowth of MAGA policies played all the way to the end game of the imbecile, malignant narcissism, Mad King.
Hey, and Mitch doesn't give a shit. He can fly in expensive vodka from Russia, or he can fly in some bourbon from overseas
Mitch is fine.
somewhere.
Mitch is
Yeah,
going to be
Mitch is
just
fine.
fine.
What's his family
Yeah.
worth? Like 50 mils? 50 millis? Or big bucks.
Mitch has been getting paid off for years.
Yeah.
Right? And neighboring Tennessee just voted for some Yahoo MAGA guy when they had the chance to vote differently just 3 weeks ago. And yeah, they swung the needle by like 14%, but they got their MAGA representative who's right on board with suppressing the Epstein files and the tariffs and pulling the ACA premium, the ACA subsidies, right? You're
It's
getting
awesome.
exactly what you voted for, red state
Yep.
America. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jim Beam.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. It's pretty sad that Americans were run amok, led astray, hoodwinked and bamboozled by this fucking clown.
Were they? Or were they just voting their living room issue of we want to be at the top of America's social hierarchy, so we're going to roll the dice on what happens to us economically, and they can keep their racism, right? I mean, Turning Point
Right.
USA, JD Vance said yesterday,
all
it's the
yours.
return of the white man. It's, white men are on top, and he's going to stop apologizing. White
Hey,
men are
hey,
going to stop
Brock.
apologizing for being white.
I'm not
Pulled
going to
right out of the
accept your
Klan
apology.
playbook. He got that speech right from the Klan, 1927.
Yeah, I'm not going to accept your apology for being white. You don't have to apologize to me, Brock. I just want you to know that. We're good.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't feel the need to apologize. I didn't know white people are walking around feeling the need to apologize. Only because they get whipped up into some racist frenzy by their, oligarch leaders that are just making money off their anger and stupidity. And that's the whole game, right?
Right.
No one. I don't know has a white person ever apologized to you? I don't know a single white person who I've ever heard apologizing for being white. I mean, there's someone for everything. So I'm sure there's someone out on TikTok who did a video that apologized, but you can't tell me that the mainstream white America is apologizing for being white.
Do I need to get some new white friends that will apologize to me? Like I haven't.
You need more sympathetic white friends. You got the
Yeah, I'm
wrong
gonna
white
start
friends.
calling my white friends and demanding apologies. Like, what the hell is going on?
It's such a
Jeez.
fraud.
It's
That
such a joke.
whole that whole thing's a fraud. Um,
Such a joke.
Another economic element that is sort of a pile-on is that they're starting to do some analysis of how bad the downturn is in Florida in the tourism sector.
Yeah.
Once again, a major trigger is the Canadian snowbirds not coming down
Ain't
for the
coming.
winter. None of
They
them are
ain't
coming.
coming.
And they did a huge economic impact study on how much money those people brought to Florida in the winter months. They all said,
Huge.
elbows up, we're not going to America this year till they get Trump out of there and stop talking about us as the 51st state.
Yeah.
Border crossings, vehicle border crossings, Canada to the US down 33%. So that may be some people who are, not driving to Florida, but that's affecting every state, right? So that's just the tourism industry also getting dinged by idiotic policies
Yep.
of Trump. I mean, you just find the tentacles everywhere, and these red states are just getting smoked.
Yeah. And here's the good thing, Brock. um, you know, um, you can't fool the people all the time. Eventually, the numbers are coming out. I saw a TikTok, and I preface it with TikTok, that it was cheaper to go to fly to Tokyo Disney, right? Stay in a hotel, go to the theme park, and come back to the US than it was to go to Florida to go to visit Disney. The prices are so insane.
Wow.
Now, that's a lot.
I mean,
Okay.
the foot traffic has to be down then, right? It has to be.
Floridians don't go to Disney.
No,
They
it's
can't afford
visible.
it. Yeah. Yeah, it's all people from other places, other states, other countries, right? Why do you think that Orlando airport is so big and so damn magnificent? They got flights coming in from everywhere over there.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, man, it's crazy. It is
All right.
absolutely crazy.
All right, I got a quick hit for you. Might
Hit
not
me.
be super quick. So I've been talking a little bit about my whites only cocktail party that I went to. Happened to be whites only. It was really a great night out and very
Hmm.
interesting and informative.
Hmm.
But today I talked to two of my good friends, one
Yeah.
from college and one from my business world, right?
They at the
Um,
party?
no, they're all over the country. They both happen to live in Florida,
Oh,
randomly, right?
okay.
So one of them tells me that he watches the podcast, but can only watch it every so often because we rile him up too much and we're too angry and it's like bad for his blood pressure, right? Like it just we like give a headache and I was like, yeah, well, we are riled up. So that's what you're gonna get if you happen to tune in. We're maybe at the upper range of the scale of people that are pretty riled up about what's
You're
going on in
pissed.
America. So yeah, that's kind of what you're gonna get. So you don't have to watch it every day. Pick your spots, but
Right.
thanks for staying as a subscriber.
We appreciate you.
Hop in the chat.
Yes, sir.
My other friend said he was a subscriber and then he unsubscribed.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, can you? some friend, right? Like couldn't even hang in there with a like it was
Right.
so hard to click that button. Okay.
Turn the bell
But
off.
his explanation is that he's kind of not political, so he watched it, but it's not really his topic. He doesn't want to hear people. He didn't even vote in the last election, which aggravates the shit out of me, but that's a
Oh,
different
that
topic,
hacks
right?
me off.
So, but he says that once he subscribed, he started all his feeds starting getting like inundated with all this stuff from like Democrats. And he's not political. And I was like, wow, so the algorithm really
Let's pick
kicked
this up.
in from watching the show and how this AI shit works. And like he was a
Nice.
real world example of how once you do one thing, you get flooded with it, right? And that's kind of how the anger machine works. And it got
Nice.
me to thinking, I said back to him, I said, funny you should say that. Because since I've been doing the podcast, my feed has a whole bunch of stuff from black creators and black podcasters, which it never would have had before, right? Because I'm on the Two Men in Black and White podcast. And I actually think it's a good thing.
Right.
So my algorithm maybe thinks I'm a black guy, or 50-50. So, but at least half my feed is from black creators. So not just
Right.
like Don Lemon and Angela Rye. And that's how I've discovered these other really interesting black podcasters that are now in my rotation. So I'm saying, you know what? This is the side benefit of getting out of your silo. If you just get out of your silo in the social media,
Right.
it'll pick up on it so quick that it will exponentially flow you stuff that's out of your normal flow.
I love it.
So I texted you today. That guy that I loved had that really funny
Yeah.
podcast from yesterday. His name is Reese Waters.
Reese
Has a
Waters.
podcast called Troubled Waters, and he did
Troubled Waters.
and he's funny, and he did a really good one on Black MAGA getting kicked out of Turning Point. That sucked me in for like 30 minutes yesterday. So Reese Waters,
you
I
sent
never
me-
even would have heard of the guy if I didn't do Two Men in Black and White, because now he's in my algorithm and he scrolled by and I clicked on him and I found a really funny black podcaster who's now in my rotation. Tabitha,
you-
right? What is
Oh,
Tabitha?
Tabitha's great.
Tabitha, what's it say? Tabitha Talks Politics. Tabitha.
Yeah. Tabitha talks. Yep.
You'll find Tabitha Talks. I mean, Tabitha Talks is a genius. My wife now
Yes.
loves My wife loves Tabitha. When she ends with, "I'm going to get my nails done," you know, I never would have found Tabitha. She never would have found my feed, and I never would have found her if we weren't having this conversation, which changed my algorithms. And the
Yep.
third one is, I don't know if you follow Jay Reed.
Oh yeah.
Jay Reed's really good, and
Reed.
he really focuses on economic distress, and
Right.
particularly in the red states. So he'll
Wow.
find all these clips of red state white people
Yes.
who are getting screwed by
Yeah.
some. You know, that's where I get a lot of my stuff on the MAGA roll. That's where I saw the Jim Beam thing was
Right.
from Jay Reed's podcast
Jay Reed.
earlier today. I
Right.
didn't realize that they were shutting down, and he had a guy who either worked at Jim Beam, you know, basically bitching about Trump because he had just gotten screwed. But from a negative of my friend unsubscribing us, I kind of learned, and kind of now I'm going to be a zealot for telling white people the one way to get out of your silo and your bubble is just change a few of the things that you watch. And those fuckers, Zuckerberg and whoever owns TikTok now, either the Chinese now, I guess Ellison owns it, right?
Yeah.
They, you know, YouTube, Google, anywhere you go on searching anything, right? Then they start feeding you more and more of it. All you got to do is go out of your comfort zone a little bit. Go watch an Angela Rye or Don Lemon, right? And then they're going to feed you other stuff in that direction, and you're going to get a more balanced view of the world. So it's actually not
Yes.
that hard to get out of your silo. You don't even have to go to a cocktail party with black
No.
people to get out of your silo. You can do it
No.
staring at your screen.
So it's interesting that you say that because I did a TEDx a few years ago. And one of the ways that I asked parents to parent with love and compassion was to do it in the comfort of their home. And I said, if you have a Netflix subscription, Prime, Hulu, any of those platforms, HBO, Max, whatever it is called now, they all have, a ton of great content about the Black experience. You're safe, right? Because you're at home and you get to learn about things that you wouldn't normally watch. And then all of a sudden, Netflix starts feeding because you watched,
Of
right?
course,
American Gangster.
it
This is a story that you might like to
it's
watch.
recommending.
Yes. And now all of a sudden you find yourself with a different level of understanding for what other people are going through. And that's how we become a more compassionate society, right? By using, I watched that Making of a Murderer. Have you seen that?
Which one is that?
Stephen Avery in Wisconsin,
No.
who, okay, so Stephen Avery was convicted of a crime he did not commit. He was exonerated 18 years later by a single pubic hair and DNA evidence. Not 2 years later, he files a $36 million wrongful incarceration or wrongful conviction suit. And within months, he's accused of a rape and murder. The car is found on his property. I mean, everything points to him, and they even, you know, gin up a confession from his intellectually limited nephew. Dude, I watched that whole thing with my jaw on the floor because I was like, this guy is getting screwed. And I didn't think they did that to white people. I'm kidding. But you see how poor white America, is dealing with a lot of the same issues that other segments of the population are dealing with. And it really looked like they did everything they could to point at this one guy. They didn't even look at any other suspects. And the police department that he filed the complaint against, the lawsuit against, was supposed to recuse themselves in the investigation. They found all the pertinent evidence.
Yeah.
Ain't that many coinky dinks in a murder investigation. They
Yes.
found some shit.
Speaking
And
of,
it's worth watching because, I heard it got a lot of buzz. So I finally, took some time out and watched it over the last, week or two. It's like 2 seasons with 10 episodes. So it took me a while to get through it. But man, it was hard to watch, bro.
yeah, speaking of getting through, I got through the first 2 episodes of the P. Diddy documentary. I don't know how
Interesting.
excited I am to see episodes 3 and 4. The funniest line of the whole one is when P. Diddy's like, "Oh, you may be surprised by this, but I don't have a lot of friends." I'm like, I'm not fucking surprised at all. You're a fucking asshole. Like,
Right.
what do you mean? Well, why would I be surprised that you rape women? You don't pay out to your friends. You may have gotten some of your other friends killed. You are a raging selfish asshole. Why would you possibly have friends? But he asked the question like we would assume that he has a lot of friends. I'm
I
like, dude,
did.
have you followed your own life? Oh my god. But I did. It was like a take you back to the '90s of,
Yeah.
like a glory age to a
And
certain
and
extent in
and
hip hop.
Brock, for those of you who do not go to Howard University with P. Diddy, he basically got famous off the deaths of 9 people at City
Yeah,
College.
yeah. I remember when that happened.
Yeah. That was his claim to fame. That shot him to the
I
stratosphere.
know that he threw an absurd event that didn't have the right security and that was oversold and that
So,
led
yep,
to a riot and a bunch of people getting trampled. And
yep.
somehow he came out of it like winning. Like I still looking back on it, I was like, how did he not get sued to the, bejesus? And how did he not
Well,
get accused in some way of either inciting a riot? Like he got off
right.
amazingly.
Well, there's a guy in the third installment who says, if you're P. Diddy's friend, you almost damn or you did go to prison. Now, how he kept from going to prison, I don't know.
Yeah, they
All this time, he had a
finally caught up to him.
30-year run.
Finally
So
caught up to
yeah,
him. Yeah, but I mean, we've been doing it just by talking and recommending different stuff to each other, which has kind
right,
of been interesting. I've been like watching different stuff, and it's like, it's easy to do. We all consume so much media. It's really
right.
pretty easy to go watch a few
No,
things here and there that are outside your lane. Like, I watch a lot now of international um, shows, like sometimes with subtitles or they're dubbed. Like I like
right,
watching European crime shows. You know, like they don't all have guns. It's not as violent. They
right,
tend to be more story driven. I mean, I just
right.
watched an Asian show called The Left-Handed Girl. I mean, I just find myself like, you know what? Of all the watching that we do, it's interesting to watch something different. So you know what? I can boycott CBS. I'm not missing. I'm sorry, I'm not missing out on a couple of CBS shows. I'll watch some crime show from Poland or like
Yeah.
Latvia or something.
Hey,
And
the
you know,
BBC network has some really good, shows on it. There's a new show, new police cop show they're promoting. And I might subscribe to watch that show. But they got a lot of good stuff.
but I would even say, because Americans, so much of America doesn't travel and never gets out of their town. Like, if you can at least
Right.
stop watching the same fucking reality shows with the same
Shit. Yeah.
bullshit and, getting fed the same stuff back to you. Like, even just watch different stuff. Like, it's interesting. I would hope it's interesting to me. I would hope it'd be interesting to more people to watch shows, even just from other cultures. You
Right.
learn something. You're not watching it to learn. You're watching it to be entertained, but you can't help but learn something because you're even just seeing the city streets of foreign
Yes,
places.
sir. Yes, sir. And you
So,
know what? Um, I saw on Instagram the other day on this it's called wealthy.org, I believe is the account I'm following. And it said that, the wealthy um, and well-to-do parents travel with their kids, um, not just to show them other stuff, but, to add depth to those kids, right? And experience, right? It's about the experience, right? So they remember the view from the mountaintop. They remember, the excitement of, when I was a kid and we used to travel with the Shelton family, right? And we'd get on the plane, we had to get all dressed up and, I had to wear shoes on the airplane. I was like, I don't want to wear any shoes, right? Like I want to wear my sneakers. We're going on a plane, you get dressed properly, right? And so we would be all dressed all nice and shined up, ready to get on the plane. And I remember the excitement of travel. And so, it's like I said before, it all starts at home, right? And the kind of experiences you get exposed to. And if you've got an angry dad sitting there screaming at the TV because there are brown people on it, that's probably going to be you too, because that's what you know. So, it is what it is. So, all right, brother. You
all
say
right, good
it's
stuff. Always a pleasure. I'll power through
yes,
P
sir.
Diddy 3 and 4.
Finish it up. Finish strong.
I am sure it doesn't get any better, but okay.
No, it doesn't. It's an American Horror Story.
But all
We
right,
got penitentiaries.
good. Look, I hope we're inspiring some people to
Do
move
better.
step out of the comfort zone a little bit, and then let the
Yes, sir.
algorithms, then ride that algorithm wave from there.
No
Do it
doubt.
once and let the algorithm take you on additional journeys.
Exactly. Expand your horizon. All right, my brother. I'll see you
Okay.
tomorrow. Crank
All
it
right,
up and
Mark.
do it
Always a
again.
pleasure. All right. Bye.